Susan, could you take a roll call, please?
Yes. Councillor Halverson.
Present.
Councillor McCullough. Councillor Walker.
Here.
Councillor Lance.
Here.
Councillor Baki.
Here.
Mayor Campbell.
Here. All right, adopt the agenda. Council, we have just a couple of minor things tonight. When you walked in, there was a item dealing with the field house in front of you. Mandy would like to add it under herself. Project that's budgeted that she'd like to get done this year yet. So I'd look at putting that as number 2 under her. As many of you know, we interviewed the contestants or the candidates for CM for our public safety building last night, and we're going to bring forward a name to start negotiating with to possibly hire them. So we would take that up as the last item under myself, number 4 tonight. There is one correction in the consent agenda. I'll just note it when we get to that point. But motion to accept the agenda with the 2 additions. Anything else, Stephanie? Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, sorry, thank you. And then we have, before I screw it up here, let me just pull it up. So we have a gentleman with Mesaba Fit Coalition that's going to, is here to speak to us tonight a little bit about that in the resolution we have later tonight. And I moved him up to public participation just so he doesn't have to sit through the whole meeting. So, sorry about that. Thank you, Stephanie. A motion to accept the agenda with those 3 changes, additions.
Motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll jump right into it. So we have Joe Lobernick. Jim Lobernick. Oh, I even wrote that. It's Jim. Come on up. So, Council, later tonight we have a resolution kind of supporting what he's going to talk a little bit about, having to do with the Mesaba Fit Coalition, and he mentions the why and stuff. So I'll just turn it over to you, Jim, and we'll be taking it up later. Good evening.
Thank you for your time, folks. I'm Jim Lobrick, a member of the Mesaba Fit Coalition. We formed our coalition in response to the closing of the YMCA building in Mount Iron on August 1st. It was to the surprise of many. They sought no help from the surrounding communities or businesses. We are made up of a large group of past members, community leaders, and organizations. We currently are seeking a nonprofit public charity status and have the commitment of potential funders. The original investment of $2.1 million was consisted of $1 million from the IRRB and $1.1 million coming from the Blandon Foundation and local industry, businesses, and hundreds of community members to be intended for public use. We have established a webpage, a Facebook site, and we have a press release coming out shortly. Would you like me to read the resolution, or?
The one we have in front of us?
Yeah.
If you want to, you can. I'll allow you to. We have it in front of us.
Okay, as long as we've got it. But anyway, what we're asking is for your support for the Mesaba Fit Coalition's efforts to ensure that the former Y building reopens as a community recreation center for the benefit of families, youth, and seniors. And to this point, we have the communities of Mountain Iron, Vale Township, and Barris, Virginia, Town of Briding, Aurora, and Gilbert in support of our resolution. So we're hoping to get your support also. Thank you.
Jim, is the Y done? Have they given up?
Yeah, the Y is done. They have some programs off-site, but that really doesn't do us much good because they have nothing in the building anymore.
So they're not trying to open it back up or anything?
No, the Y is done.
Okay.
They're done with us. We've asked them to run our manage the Y, but they turned us down on that, so we're pretty much on our own. That's why we put them on profit status.
Good. The numbers you mentioned, 2.1, That's what was actually put into it when it was put together
Right.
originally? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, public money.
We're not asking for any donations, any money at this point. Like I said, we have funders. The IRRB is definitely on our side. They have $1 million into it. They don't want to see it go private, or the public can't use the pool or anything else, so that's what our goal is right now. So,
Okay, good. Council, you have any questions for Jim? Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, move on to reports. Let's start with Marty tonight. Marty, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I attended a Park and Rec Board meeting where we went and toured all of the parks in town and brainstorming and planning and coming up with ideas for all of our parks. Also attended a campground committee meeting this past week. Been at many public safety building meetings, and we had our interviews yesterday for our construction manager at risk position that we are looking to finalize. Attended the school board meeting today with the rest of the council to hear about the referendum coming up. And I would encourage all the citizens in Chisholm to support that referendum, both referendums. It's the right thing to do. Rock Solid is back at Redhead. They're our trail building contractor. They've been gone for about 7 weeks on another project and due to a personal wedding. But they're back. They have about a week of work left to finish their scope for this year. And this weekend at Redhead is the Minnesota Cycling Association final race of the season. They have races all summer long, and their final race is at Redhead, and they expect somewhere around 1,000 to 1,500 high school and junior high school age bicycle riders. And the city is looking at getting more volunteers to help with parking on Saturday and Sunday. So if anybody wants to volunteer to help with parking, it would be Friday night late, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. Contact Bridget, our Parks and Recreation Director. She's keeping track of all the parking attendants that are volunteering. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Marty. April, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've got a couple things here. The Chisholm Kids Plus is putting on a trunk or treat in the fenced parking lot at the Chisholm High School on October 30th from 1 to 3. And then, let's see, Archaeology Day at MDC is on Saturday, October 29th at 11 a.m. So you can check that out with the kiddos. And then the Chamber is putting on a holiday market and Chamber Expo on November 19th from 10 to 4. They're still looking for vendors and crafters and home businesses to fill in some slots. And if anybody's interested, they can contact the Chisholm Chamber. And also Pink Night, at Valentini's is holding a fundraiser to fight against breast cancer in support with the Angel Fund. And tickets are available, and drawings will be held on October 28th. If you haven't checked it out, there's lots of good prizes and donations that were given to support this cause. So I just want to thank Valentini's and also the Angel Fund for putting that on. Thank you.
Thank you, April. Just to follow up on that, a lot of people don't know what the Angel Fund is. They provide money so people can travel to treatments outside the area. So good cause. Valentini's been big on that for years, helping that. So. Travis, report tonight.
Yeah, a couple things. First thing for the school, there's an empty bowl event on November 3rd. I believe it's 5 to 7:30. It will be held at the Chisholm Elementary cafeteria, and the soups are donated by Valentini's and Snickers and Jim's. And if you've never been to an empty bowl event, basically the students in the district have been building ceramic bowls with clay, and then you can purchase a bowl and then have as many bowls of soup as you'd like at that event. Second thing, I'm just going to echo what Councillor Halverson had to say regarding the referendum. I also believe it is the right thing to do to support that. But more importantly than that, if you have questions, please ask them. The superintendent is open all day long for questions if you have questions, and get the information you need to make the best decision for you. Lastly, for me, there is a football game tomorrow. Our 5-1 Blue Streaks are taking on Barnum. It is the last home game of the regular season, and I have secured Barb's Fried Bread to be at the game. So please come out, pack the stands, eat some fried bread. We missed the fair.
Okay, you ready? Go
So,
Blue Streaks!
Go Blue Streaks.
Woo!
7 o'clock tomorrow.
I'm embarrassed that I don't know this, but the school mentioned that they have all this information on their website with regard to the referendum, or a lot of it.
Yeah.
Educate people. Got to go educate themselves.
Yeah, they do. And there's a whole separate website that is specifically dedicated to the referendum. So once you can link to it from the Chisholm website. It's on Facebook. There's a Vote Blue Streaks Facebook page that has the link and all the information as well. So tons and tons of information out there.
Thank you. Cheyenne, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. No report.
Adam, good evening. Report tonight.
Good evening. I'll just hop right on to the school referendum. Obviously, the superintendent, Adrian Norman, was very helpful in reaching out and educating and helping inform. So I definitely encourage anybody to go out and follow that path. We've been very busy over the last 3 years of trying to build our town and make this a better place. And without a school here, it's going to make it really hard to actually get, fill out those areas that we do develop. So definitely something for everybody to look at. On October 4th, I joined Bridget Maruska and Donna Johnson and Jordan Metza over at MDC, where Congressman Stauber came, paid a visit, checked out the Redhead, came over and looked, listened to our needs for safe transit across the highway, listened to MDC's needs for infrastructure, building upgrades, and just the lack of funding that we do have on the federal level and the state. So hopefully we can get some help there from him. And I know we've already received quite a bit, so thank you very much, Congressman, and thanks for visiting. We had some very great candidates come forward for the CMAR, so I'm very glad that that's going to be moving on. And on the fire department side, member Chris Charter just had his 3-year anniversary, so thank you, Mr. Charter, for what you do for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Just a couple items. First of all, thank you, Council President, for running the meeting last time. I'm rarely sick, but when I'm sick, I got a good immune system. If I'm sick, you don't want me around you, because you are going to get sick bad. So it was nice. Levy, you guys, the preliminary levy, I appreciate the council took my advice that a lot can happen before the end of the year to where we potentially can reduce that to a zero or close to it, but we're not there yet, and I think it's good to give yourself that flexibility should we not be able to achieve that. So appreciate. I think 7%. I think it's at. So that's good. Just something kind of off the cuff here. It kind of drives me nuts. Chisholm is probably one of the most ATV friendly communities in the state, maybe in the whole state. And in order to continue doing that, there are some rules here. And I see them broken all the time. Obviously, I'm not going to go yell at somebody. But at some point, ATVs on Main Street. ATVs are not allowed on Main Street. We do hold a couple events throughout the year. The council gives special permission to have ATVs on the Main Street during that time. Other times of the year, they're not allowed on Main Street. I've often thought I should sit down with Chief Manor and have him start having his police officers, if they're available, educate these people when, a line of them are parked out in front of one of the restaurants in town. But you can't drive on it. The other place you can't drive is basically from McDonald's on the south end of town to the storage unit by Lucky 7 on the north end of town. It's a state highway. You can't be driving on there. So we're trying to keep this open for ATVs in this town, and we appreciate the help. So, I got anything come up during the reports? Any further discussion? All right. We'll move on to our department heads. Ambulance Director, Jess, report tonight?
No reports tonight.
Anything for Jess, Council? Thanks for letting us use your building last, well, it's our building, but you know what I mean. Fire Chief Chris, report tonight. Good evening.
Yeah, a couple things. All right, I'll start off, if you haven't heard, this week is National Fire Prevention Week. The theme this week is Fire Won't Wait, Plan Your Escape. So basically, sit down with folks that are living in your house, kids, your grandparents, whoever, and talk to them about the best way to get out of your house if you do have a fire or smoke or whatever. But a lot of people ask about kids on second stories. We get questions about that quite a bit. They do sell retractable ladders, and any kid over 4 or 5 years old can deploy one of those things. But actually talk about it. We say it all the time. Do we talk about it? I don't know. But you want to plan. You don't get a lot of time nowadays when a fire does hit. You get under 1 minute, basically 1 minute to get out. So please talk to your children and anybody else in your household about what happens if you get a fire. On that note, we are down at the Vaughn this week, ECFE and first graders, kindergartners, anybody that wants us to talk about fire prevention. It's always fun. Sometimes I think the kids, they actually take it in and bring it home to their parents. That's a good thing. Last Wednesday, we had a training in Virginia at Mesabi College. It was hosted by the East Range Fire Coalition. The instructor was a 30-year retired Seattle firefighter. It was on the art of reading smoke, and it was very good. Learned a lot. I think half our department made it, which is a good thing, you know, guys who didn't have to work. Counselor Lance he stayed on point. A lot of times you go to these and they give out so much information, you really don't get what you need. But he stayed on point and learned a lot. So thanks to them for hosting it for the region. There's over 100 firefighters there, so another good one. And it's free. Better yet. That's all I have.
Council, anything for Chris? Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Good job. Police Chief, report tonight.
I don't have a report.
Council, anything for Chief Manor? Building official, Mandy, report tonight.
No report other than my 2 items.
Council, anything for Mandy? Engineer Jim, report tonight.
I have no report other than what I've got on the agenda, unless you have questions of me. Thank you.
No questions. Public Works, Larry, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I was going to spare the report tonight, but in honor of Bridget and her asking for any possible volunteers for parking this weekend. She's with the IROC folks right now.
It's for you.
Thank you.
That's your own personal copy.
Thank you, Marty. She's with the IROC folks right now. I believe she's also trying to drum some help there from them folks. And I have 3 golf carts available for the weekend, so if that is a hardship for you, you know, I have that to help. And they're fun, you know. So any help is appreciated, I'm sure. And she tells me 2 hours, anything will help. So I think she's feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe by it, or not secure or something. But I know we'll get through it. Okay. We're expecting, like Marty said, 1,000 to 1,500 racers, but truly 3,000 to 5,000 people. You know, parents, grandparents, teams. So it's going to be an exciting weekend over at Red Head, and it'll be busy. And hopefully we see that in town as well. So on the public works side, yes, we're finishing up the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit by the Vaughn area. You see the new signs. We've gotten a couple little feedback ready. New, you know, very reflective and bright. So that's good there. And then the sweeper's out, picking up the leaves and all the sticks and all that before it gets in the storm sewer system as we near winter, which is coming, I assure you. And that's really what I have tonight. So We've been very busy.
Council, anything for Larry other than what he's talked about? Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you for Bridget's report. We can jump right over her. Library, Katie, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Story times are continuing at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. Our numbers have been staying pretty consistent, 15 to 20 kids. And so this is during school hours, so it's under school age, so about 15 to 20. This coming Tuesday, we're going to be welcoming the third graders for their annual field trip. It's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, so looking forward to that. And then I also just wanted to thank this council for the support of moving towards Fine Free. We've been rolling that out, our patrons are excited, and it just makes our job fun. Be like, hey, we're waiving these fines today, so we appreciate that. All I got.
Thank you, Katie. Council, anything for Katie other than that? City Attorney Brian is gone tonight. We have Colleen with us. Anything you want to share?
No, thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I don't have a formal report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Anything you want to bring back to Brian? All right, we'll leave that alone. Eileen gone?
Yes.
All right, City Administrator.
I just have a short, I just want to take a minute to thank the staff. I feel like the collaboration and teamwork that is put forth within the staff is amazing and it's above and beyond, in my opinion. Makes my job a lot easier. They do a great job for the city, and I just want to recognize them because it's a really big deal and it's not everywhere. So thank you guys.
Just to add to that, occasionally I'm available to attend their staff meetings they hold, and they actually do get along pretty well here. So it's nice. We have a lot of laughs, and somebody brings some kind of cookie that really stinks and puts it in the middle of the table. Just kidding. All right, good. Anything for Stephanie, Council, before we move on? All right, consent agenda. Those are your list of bills. Communications, which are the August 17, 2022 Public Utilities Commission meeting minutes. Minutes of the previous City Council meeting, the September 28, 22 regular meeting, payroll overtime. Just let me note on the September 28, 2022 regular meeting minutes, there's an item that says schedule a meeting to discuss 3rd Street project in St. Louis County Essential proposed daycare and medical facility on October 28th. October 18th.
Tuesday, October 18th, 2022 at 5:30.
Okay, so motion to accept consent agenda with that correction, and anything else council might have found in there that we need to correct.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second.
Second.
Thank you, April. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll get into the meeting. Vern, resolution number 1022-90, Jackson Hanson Para Police Officer Declaration.
Thank you. This is just, we have to do this with every employee, resolution to start his para for his retirement. Jackson is in the 2nd week of field training, and maybe this is his 3rd start. Anyways, he's relatively new, and doing a good job for us, but this is the motion to start.
Looking for a motion to adopt resolution 1022-90 to approve his para, I guess would be the.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Second.
Support.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion? Nice to see we're adding a police officer when we've been looking for him for a long time.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Vern.
Thank you.
Mandy. Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation Residential Development Grant Agreement. Page 10, Council.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am just requesting the adoption of the grant agreement for the residential redevelopment program. You did previously pass a resolution for this, and now the grant is ready for signature.
Council,
Have contractors set up to be starting within 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Good job, man.
okay, council looking for a motion to allow me to sign that contract. Stephanie, I believe. Yeah.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, April. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Fieldhouse addition, council. Mandy, go ahead.
So before you receive a quote for work to be completed at the field house, we do have a grant and we also have some budgeted money for this project. We need to get the project done before the end of the year. I have tried to reach out to many other contractors. 2 other contractors actually got back to me and said they couldn't get the project to get it done by the end of the year. We did successfully get this bid back. I think it's a good idea to go along with it and get the project and work done before the end of the year so we can get the grant.
Did I hear you say that you had one that wasn't qualified or something too, where you did have somebody else that was
No,
trying?
they were both qualified. There's some work that needs to be done there. It's specialized work. There's some rotting soffit and fascia boards that are rotting. And the other person did bid on it, but he doesn't have the equipment to do the kind of work that needs to be done to get the whole project complete.
Okay. Colleen, any concerns with what was said here, accepting this bid?
No, as council probably is aware, under Minnesota Statute 471345, subdivision 4, the city can obtain 2 quotes if a project is in the value of $25,000 to $175,000, where possible. So it's obviously the best practice if you can do that. If there are extenuating circumstances in terms of the emergency nature, in terms of unavailability, it can be excused. So I believe Ms. Galley's made a record that she's made attempts to get a second quote, and I think there's a need to get it done this fall. So given those circumstances, from a legal standpoint, I don't see an issue.
Thank you. A budgeted item, I understand?
It is budgeted.
And it's part of our Iron Range Resources grant too. So, council looking for a motion to approve that work to be completed by Gornick's Exterior Escapes in the amount of $31,970.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis. Second.
Support.
Thank you, Adam. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mandy. Jim Johnson, Resolution 1022-91, adopting assessments for 3rd Street Northwest Infrastructure Improvement Projects. Follow up to our public hearing we had earlier tonight.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, and in accordance with Chapter 429, our assessment statutes with the city, this is a resolution that would adopt the assessment roll as presented, and we would recommend its adoption. It is proposing, as we've done for many years, that this assessment can be spread over 10 years at a 3% interest rate. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. We will send out a letter to the residents along 4th Street where we have inadvertently sent them an assessment letter that they should not have received. They were not really involved in the project as we scaled it down initially. They were on a list from our public hearing, and they were inadvertently mailed an assessment letter as well, but we will write a letter back to them indicating that that's null and void. They have no assessments against their property. They were not benefited or abutting.
Thank you, Jim. Council looking for a motion to adopt Resolution 1022-91 to adopt those assessments for the 3rd Street project.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis. Second.
Support.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jim. Stephanie, we have Alex Puritz. I'll try that. With MnDOT, update on Highway 169. Come on up to the mic, Alex. And Stephanie, I'll just let you go. get everybody up to speed on what's going on out there.
So, as many of you are aware, MnDOT has been conducting their ICE study, which we're like kind of in the middle of. We have a public meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock at MDC. So Alex is here today just to get the council and the public up to date on what they're actually looking at and kind of the steps that they're taking. So,
all right, thanks, Stephanie. Yeah, my name is Alex Parrott. I'm a project manager from MnDOT, and I'm leading the study here that we're doing on US 169. And what we're looking at is really the whole corridor here from the interchange here at Highway 73, where the off-ramps are coming from town all the way to 4th Avenue, and all the accesses in between, including Iron Road Drive, Western Drive, the County Fair. And really this kind of started, we've kind of had this on our radar as a corridor that's had some safety issues pop up in the past, and then this year's kind of spurred a little more, had an opportunity to start looking at this a little sooner. So we started in August with this process, right? Started your intersection control evaluation studies that we're doing, and lumped that in with the corridor study through there. And we had a series of meetings in August to just kind of gather input from the community, from the businesses, from the agencies. I know a lot of people in this room were at those meetings, so I appreciate everyone being there and providing their feedback just on that first stage, just to kind of get us going in the right direction. As part of that, we take that feedback along with just what we're seeing for traffic patterns or engineering analysis and come up with some alternatives. And that's kind of where we're at right now, is presenting some alternatives. So like Stephanie said, we'll be having a public open house tomorrow at 5, just to go over what are some of the alternatives that we're looking at for the corridor out there. And what our hope is to try to get down to a single alternative here, probably within the next month. Might extend a little longer depending on how comments and everything else go through. And the idea would be is once we can get an alternative out there is to start trying to figure out how we would fund a project. So right now we don't have any project funded for any of the intersections that are out there, but that would be the ultimate goal. So it's kind of one of those, we need to figure out what the best solution is for those before we can really apply for any safety money that's out there. So it's a very quick, high level kind of look. If you are interested, like I said, there's an open house tomorrow, and I know a lot of you have been involved with it thus far. So I just ask if there's any questions from Mayor or Council.
Council, anything for Alex?
So I was at the last meeting that you had, and I'd just like to encourage any and everybody who is concerned, who has ideas, or wants to have input. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are finally looking at this. This is a bad corridor. You're not saying it took a long time, but and I tell people they don't like what engineers come up with. I tell them, first thing you got to do is try to work with people to make a situation better. If that doesn't work, they're going to try to engineer it out. So if anyone wants to complain later without coming to any meetings, you're more than welcome to do so. But tomorrow's a good night to actually come in and sit down and voice any concerns and input that you have.
And I guess I will add one other thing I keep always forgetting, just how the world, we're doing this as a hybrid meeting as well. So if you go on to, we have a project website, if you just Google US 169 Chisholm, it'll come up with there. So there's a link to that meeting, so you can, if you can attend in person, you can look at that. Our alternatives are online right now, and also we'll be recording that meeting and posting online. I think our first meeting's already been posted on our first public meeting, so you can, if you did get a chance to attend that, you can listen to that as well. So,
Alex, just a comment to reiterate what Adam said. We appreciate what you guys are trying to do out there. I don't think a year's gone by where we didn't lose somebody out there, so it's not good. So appreciate you looking at it. Marty?
Hi, Alex.
Mike.
I know it isn't your project, but who do we talk about the 73 corridor south? Is that still land in Richardson?
Yep.
Is that in?
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're still discussing that, internally. So we do have our Highway 73 project that is coming up in our regular program. Right now, I'm blanking on what year it was, but 26, 27, 28, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That we're looking at doing our pavement preservation project. And as part of that, we're, going to be looking at some of the more, we'll say from the city hall here south, what we end up doing with that section. So we don't know exactly what that would be. But that's kind of part of our process as well. So as we start scoping that project.
Yeah, because, we're very interested in the Lane diet, and that makes developable corridor for the city if we can speed that up. So, thank you.
Anything else, Council? Thank you, Alex, for coming in.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Staff Senator David Thomasoni, Bridge of Peace. Did I miss something?
No.
Okay.
So I met with the team, part of the team that's been working on the Senator David Thomasoni Bridge Memorial on the causeway. And I just wanted to give just an update to the council of where we're at and kind of what that project is going to look like. So the project is going to be fully funded by donors and grants that are being received from the group that are working on it. They have been working with ARI on the design of the memorial, which is, I believe, almost complete. What they're looking for on the city level is that we would put that project out to bid, and then we would use staff in kind to facilitate that project. The hope is that it would start in the spring, so the bid process would happen this winter. So I just wanted to keep you up to date on where we are and what the ask is from the city, and I think it's a great project. We've already had it to council once with full support, so just giving an update on where we are, and we will be putting that project out to bid through the city.
Council, any questions, comments, concerns?
So I wasn't at the last CCF meeting, but it sounds like they got permission to where they can take in all the money on the CCF.
Yes, so the money will get funneled through the CCF into the city, and then we would pay for the project through the city, but we would, there are some funds that have to go directly into the city that aren't allowed to go to a nonprofit. So there'll be a couple different avenues of how the funds will go through, but yes, they will come both ways.
Okay. Yeah,
Sure.
so just because I'm on the CCF board, and so, we've been talking for months about how we're gonna do this, and at one point, there was a discussion about whether all the money should just flow to the city, or if it should flow to the CCF, and they finally got an answer from the Minnesota Community Foundation that allows a fund to be created, not just for money, but if there's leftover, then it can be used for maintenance and things of that nature that, in-kind doesn't cover. At some point, you're gonna have to do some repainting and some, So I'm glad it got figured out. It is a really great program, and if you haven't seen a sketch of the design, it's fantastic. I mean, it's
Have they released it yet at all?
There was an article in the paper.
Oh, I missed it.
yeah. I have it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can share it.
Yep, so there was an article in the paper, and then I believe it's also coming in the next CCF newsletter too. So
Yeah.
they have released it.
So great project. I know they already have over 50,000, I think.
That's wonderful. Awesome.
I was just laughing because I think the word flow through the city was better than funnel. All right, so that's good information there. We'll move on to Stephanie's last item, resolution number 1022-92, Development Partnership Grant with Energy Resources.
So I'm looking for approval on this resolution for funds up to $25,000 for work at the Wenton Addition site. This is we're working to do the soil borings work. Sorry, I'm looking at Larry and Jim to make sure I have the right terminology. And that will start the end of October, beginning of November. So this is the same project we've been working on. Just getting some additional funding.
Council looking for motion to adopt resolution 1022-92.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, April. Second.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Stephanie. Council, chamber request Chisholm cash, page 26. Steph, were we able to find any money anywhere to do this, or?
The option, so this request we've had in the past, but we used CARES Act funding for it. We do have an option of using some of our American Rescue funds. Those are allocated to the public safety building and the purchase of our ambulance. So it would just be carving out of that fund.
Anybody under budget right now? You know, with gas prices, I'm sure you don't have
Come
any
on,
extra. I'm sure Larry's got his gas budget used up, so we're gonna be over.
Yeah,
I mean, I think this is a great program. It's great. It's great advertising and promotion. It's one of our, you know, the way we would have to do it, we're going to get yelled at by Eileen and the auditors for doing it because we're not supposed to spend money that ain't budgeted. But it's a great program. We're advertising and promoting Chisholm and our businesses. I guess you'd have my vote. We'll figure it out at the end of the year.
I would
Some-
take it out of American Rescue.
You would take it on American Rescue,
Is it-
and we'll
I mean-
figure out how to do that.
I mean, so I agree. I think it's a great program. You know, I don't think it would be a bad thing if we went with 4,000 instead of 7,250. Like, I don't think it's set in stone that we have to do 7,250. I mean, it's important. Well, I mean, that money is important for our ambulance. It's important for the public safety building. I mean, I get it. You know, but
Vern's gonna help us out.
you know.
You know,
Obviously, I'm on the chamber board, so of course I'm gonna.
of course you.
Of course, I'm gonna go with whatever. But just so everyone knows, I don't think it's not locked in. Like we can't do 5,000 instead of 7,250.
Can we do a budget item annually for chamber? We usually used to allocate
Yeah,
certain
I
amount.
believe it's $3,000 for advertising and promotion.
And that- is that-
Don't quote me on that amount, but I think it's somewhere in
Have
that.
we used that up and tapped that out already?
I'm not
We're not
sure what
gonna-
they use that for. Different fund, I think they use it for different projects than this. But yes, we do an allocation to them.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we put $250 towards this.
Thank you, April. Is there a second for that?
Support.
Thank you, Adam. Further discussion, council?
Yeah, so we're taking this money away from an ambulance? Is that what I'm hearing?
There's also the new gambling funds coming in. I don't know how much is in that one yet, but the payback from the gambling that's set aside and that's specifically set aside for things like this. I don't know what Eileen's was collected. I don't know what they've set in yet. If it's been profitable, if there's always a little bit in there. And that's exactly what that money is supposed to be used for, is to give back to the community and put in these types of funds. That's why we redrafted that ordinance.
Correct.
So we could look into.
Correct.
What's in there? I don't know. I don't see those.
Could we wait on this to get an answer on that? Because I'm not at all comfortable taking this money from an ambulance, I'm sorry.
Well, we're also, what's an ambulance out, year and a half? Year? Or do we even have, what's that? Depends on the vendor. So we don't even have a cost on an ambulance, you know, written in stone right now. So that's just the funds that were set aside for the ambulance. I'm sure we can find that elsewhere.
It's partial, it's half, it's part of the funds that are left for American Rescue are going to the public safety building, and the other part is going to the ambulance. That's what's allocated currently. It's not set in stone, but that's where preliminary allocation is at.
Mr. Mayor,
Marty?
yes. When's Eileen returning?
Monday.
And if we could find out what this gambling fund may have or will have, because I believe that's the best fund to try to use for this.
Travis, do you know did you happen to know when they were gonna kick this off? Usually it's a Christmas related thing,
I
right?
think they usually kick it off in November.
We got another meeting.
Yeah.
We do have a motion in support, so would the motion maker be okay with holding off? You want to stay with your motion?
Yeah.
I'll stay with my support.
Any other discussion, council? Susan, could you take a roll call vote, please?
Halverson,
No.
Counselor McElrath,
No.
Counselor Faulkner,
Yes.
Counselor Lance,
Yes.
Counselor Lackey,
Yes.
Mayor Champa.
Yes. That motion passes. Thank you, Susan. All right, moving on, Resolution 1022-93, supporting the mission of the Mesaba Fit Coalition. There's a name there, but that wasn't who was here. It was actually Jim Robertnick. Council, I actually called Attorney Lindsay earlier today to talk a little bit about this. It's kind of weird when we're supporting something 20 miles away. You know, where does that end? Are we going to support things 100 miles away? I mean, I think it's a great thing, and we're not committing to anything, so I certainly don't think there's any issues with this resolution, but I did ask, and he said, yeah, you're really not doing anything except saying this is it's good to have this Y type of facility open wherever it is. You know, we're grateful for our 30 West here in town that's here for us. So, unless there's comments, I would entertain a motion to adopt resolution 1022-93. There's no harm, no fault in it, and I think it's a good support for what their cause of trying to reopen it.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that?
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next one, just informational, page 31. As many of you probably have attended it, Rams holds their annual meeting. They're holding it on December 15th, 2022. They're actually honoring Senator David Thomasoni at the meeting, and Senator Tom Bach was retiring. Great meeting. It's just informational that City Council is invited along with administration. I actually asked Ida, what is the criteria, and she says the more the merrier. People have brought in spouses with them and stuff, so it's a great event. We might have to let them know how many people are showing up, or they may reach out at some point to ask. But if you're thinking about it, get it on your calendar, and we'll try to get her a number so she knows. But informational at this point. So, last item. Last night, the group that was put together to interview the public safety building CMARs met and did interview for. Actually, I should step back. Okay, we had 5, right? We had 5 applicants, and we went through them, kind of decided there were 4 that we really felt we wanted to interview. We interviewed the 4 last night, and Councillor Halverson, Councillor Lance, Stephanie was there. A few of our staff out here. I won't go through everybody, but there were 2 that kind of stood out. One local one, and one from the Duluth area. I think the group felt that, I think you could do an argument for either one. However, I believe, in my opinion, the Adolphson and Peterson out of Duluth probably stood out 10 to 20% maybe above our second one, and I think we're all still on board. That's the person we would or the agency we would like to get approval to engage in contract negotiations to provide that CM service to finalize the contract. I think that'd be the correct terminology. Colleen, is it close enough?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple of council people that weren't part of that group, so certainly if you have questions, but that is the group that we as our group narrowed it down to. Seemed like a very quality. I believe they're going to be a great company to do this for us. So we're looking for a motion to approve that, to get that started, to start that engagement and get that pre-bid stuff getting going for us so that we can move this project along for the public safety building. So, looking for a motion or discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that?
I'll make the motion to support Chisholm and Peterson as construction manager at risk for our public safety building project.
Okay. Thank you, Marty. Further discussion, council?
Questions?
I made the motion to put that committee together. I'm fully confident in those that I put on that committee, or that we did, excuse me.
Appreciate that, Travis.
Yeah. So, I have no questions.
I think we were just wondering how many people applied or how many construction zones.
So we had 5.
5.
And then we
Okay.
did decide to interview 4 of them. We were gonna do 3, and then we kind of looked through them all again and said, it wasn't this one that we added, was it? It was the first one we interviewed. Okay. But, yeah, we did end up interviewing 4 of them. We spent an hour with each girl. They did a half-hour presentation, and then we spent the other half hour just answering. We had 10 questions to ask each one of them, and anything that kind of came up during their presentation that maybe would have been important, we did allow the group to kind of throw a couple extra questions out just to try to clear things up. But yeah, nice process. It's a professional service they're providing, so you didn't really need to score them or anything, but it gets everybody kind of on the same page a little bit. So, but I think the group, when we got done, there were 2 that kind of stood out. They were the top 2. The other 2 kind of didn't. And this one, they were just you got to give it to them. You got to give it to them. So, I think we're excited. Any other comments? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Council, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Who made the motion? Travis, second by April. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Do a meeting in an hour, he's gonna come.